the shows are ending. Or just kind of continuing, really. And we have all of the trailers to prove it. So that's really all we got to talk about this week in the TV section. Honestly, was kind of surprised that there wasn't a bit more going on, but everything, like I said, is just finished, is about to finish, or we're starting up a new season or the second half of a season. And that's all that really is right now. So let's start things off with follow-ups. We don't have any... Hello, nerds! This is the weekly TV news show. Not like the evening news with Tom Brokaw. No, nothing like that. This has more to do with TV shows, nerdy-oriented TV shows, as well as episodic content that you will find on streaming platforms. If this is your kind of thing, then you can check out the full episode that I like to call The Week in Nerddom, that covers all spectrum of pop culture and just generally nerdy things over on the main channel. You can find it linked down in the description or at the end of this video. All of that being said, let's talk about TV shows and nerdy stuff like that. Corrections, we do have a couple of follow-ups for series that we've been keeping tabs on throughout the course of the last couple of years, honestly. First up is Star Trek Discovery. The final season there, season 5, is set for an April 4th premiere. It will be a 10-episode final season, and the first 2 of those 10 episodes will be what launches on April 4th. That's our follow-up for Star Trek Discovery. Landman is our next one. We talked about this one ever so briefly last week. The new Taylor Sheridan series that is not directly related to Yellowstone is called Landman. They're shooting it right now in Texas, and it's just been announced that they have, in fact, brought in Jon Hamm to the cast. Last week was Demi Moore, so I don't know who's got more pull, honestly. Who's got a bigger name draw, Demi Moore or Jon Hamm? Jon Hamm, a little more relevant to modern cinema and video and TV and things, but Demi Moore is Demi freaking Moore, so like... I don't know, that's pretty cool. They got 2 huge names. And then a couple of pretty big names in the sidecast. Again, we talked about all that last week. So our last piece of follow-up news has to do with the new season of Chucky has just been given a release date, April 10th over on the USA Network. I do not believe this is the final season, though it does seem like it's starting to taper. So I wouldn't be surprised if they announce soon that season 4, should it happen, will be the final season. So that's where we are with Chucky. Let's talk, moving over from the follow-ups and corrections, and we now have trailers to discuss, and we're gonna go right back to some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We have Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It is the animated series that is based on the most recent movie that just came out, Seth Rogen produced and kind of sort of written and also voice acted. That movie is getting a cartoon sequel-ish, and we've talked about this a number of times at this point. We got our first trailer for it. We have a release window, which is a very vague window, sometime this summer. No specific date was given. Paramount Plus is the streaming service, and the trailer looks like fun. It looks like it's definitely going to be geared towards kids, which makes sense. So I'm not really complaining, just admitting that it's probably not going to be in my direct wheelhouse, even though I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan.
Psst, hey, so I'm just, passing the word around that, if you subscribe, he feeds me a whole goat. I don't know about you, but, I like to eat, so... do a dragon a favor and click that little button down there, and yeah, it'd be awesome. I mean, we talk about the stuff that you like anyway, like movies and video games and other human things that nerds do. Plus, it costs you basically nothing. All you gotta do is click a button, right? And then I get to feast. It's delicious. So, thanks in advance and stuff, and also, if you comment or you hit the like button, he puts seasoning on it too, so yeah, maybe try that. Either way, let's get back to the show. Okay, bye.
Next up on the trailers list, we have a real quick, before the season launches, tomorrow. Everything's coming out on the 21st. Bad Batch, the final season is about to launch. We did get a kind of a half of a scene for the final season of Bad Batch. This is going to be the last season that really has a lot of George Lucas's DNA in it, and it's kind of bittersweet. It'll be interesting to see how they can course correct without George Lucas's influence, and also, like, it really sucks that they no longer have any sort of George Lucas influence. So yeah, go check out. It's, again, not really a trailer, just a bit of a scene. Still looks pretty good. The writing sounds like it's going to be really solid. Our next trailer has to do with the second half of Invincible. What is it, season 2? Yeah, season 2. In the second half of Invincible season 2, starting March 14th. Is it season 3? I don't remember. The second half of whatever season we are currently in for Invincible. I'm brain farting and it's not in the notes. I apologize. The trailer, though, looks interesting. Like, all right, so let's take a step back real quick, because I haven't read this comic book, so I don't know if it's intentional, but the big villain that they show us in this trailer has a whole lot of Venture Brothers vibes coming from him. I'm specifically thinking of the episode of Venture Brothers with the, I can't remember the name of the character, but the big alien with the single eye, ignore me! That's kind of how this villain feels for the second half of this season of Invincible. I am not even kind of deluded into thinking that this giant, I don't even remember what they called him in the trailer, is going to be like the main villain of the second half of this. I would be very surprised if he makes it much past a single episode. It's just weird that he's kind of the focus of this and he's kind of a joke all at the same time. So yeah, March 14th is when that's going to be hitting back onto Amazon Prime. We will get the other 4 episodes from this season. Next and final for trailers is Walking Dead: The Ones Who Lived. Dropped a trailer on Valentine's Day, February 25th, so we are less than a week away from the launch of this next Walking Dead series. Of note here, over on Shudder, and I believe even on AMC if you have cable, the AMC channel, and if you have streaming, Shudder will be doing a Joe Bob premiere, just much like they did for the Daryl Dixon show a couple months ago, or a few months ago at this point. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Go check it out. Joe Bob is always a win. Walking Dead, about 95% of win. That's what we got for TV streaming, minus the suggestion this week. TV suggestion this week. I don't care what the detractors are saying. I don't care what the original creator of the franchise or the series is saying. The True Detective Night Country that just finished over on HBO Max, or Max, I'm sorry, is 100% worth your watch. Like, literally was so confused. I don't know how the hell they were going to do everything that I thought they needed to do in the final episode in the span of roughly an hour, and they came through and explained everything rather well. I'm definitely impressed with the way they wrapped this season up. So yeah, go check it out. That is your suggestion for the week. True Detective Night Country. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.